Hello, math students. This is the introduction for our lesson on writing equations to model situations, part 2. The focus of this lesson is writing equations when you have a table and how tables can help you write equations for stories. The focus with our tables is going to be finding a pattern from them. And when we talk about a pattern, if I'm asking you what the pattern is, it means you should be giving me an operation, so add, subtract, multiply, divide, and a number. So add 3, multiply 2, subtract 10, something like that. When you're looking at a table, sometimes, especially if this is new, it can be hard to find a pattern. But the good thing is there's only 4 options: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So for example, for this first table, I'm trying to figure out what math are they doing to get from x to y. That is going to be what helps me write the equation. So looking at the table, how do we get from 2 to 6? 4 to 12, 6 to 18. Do you see what math is happening there? Maybe you start with addition and think, well, I know 2 plus 4 gives me 6, but a pattern has to be true for the entire table. And so notice that's not true here. So I'm seeing it's not addition. Maybe I try multiplication. 2 times 3 gives me 6. Is that true for the entire table? 4 times 3 gives me 12. 6 times 3 gives me 18. Absolutely. We have figured out the pattern. The pattern is multiplying by 3. Once you know the pattern, that helps you write the equation. All an equation is describing what math is happening. And so we're seeing in this table, what are we doing every single time? We are taking x, multiplying it by 3, and it gives us y. So my equation would say x multiplied by 3, and so I'm going to put that 3 in front, equals our y. And there's our equation. I've got 3 other tables for you to look at. See if you can find the pattern in those 3 tables. Stop the video and then come back to check your patterns. For this next table, 5 goes to 6, 11 goes to 12, negative 4 goes to negative 3. That pattern is adding 1 each time. In this third table here, 8 goes to 10, 2 goes to 16, 5 goes to 13. I think this one is the hardest one because maybe you try addition and that doesn't work. You try multiplication, but that doesn't work for the whole table. The pattern might not have the math happening in the middle. Here the pattern is if I add those 2 numbers, 8 and 10, every single time it gives me 18. 2 plus 16 gives me 18. 5 plus 13 gives me 18. So that's the pattern, is we're adding our 2 numbers and it gives us 18. I think this third table is the hardest. And then for our last one, 25 goes to 5, 15 goes to 3, 10 goes to 2. The pattern here is we are dividing by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5, 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. Once you have these patterns, that's what helps you write your equations. So similar to what we did for this first one, I can write my equation for this table here by saying x plus 1 is going to equal our y. This next table here, x, and this time that pattern is spread out a little bit, plus our y, and then it always equals 18. And then for that final one, I didn't circle this y, we've got our x. Every single time we divide it by 5 to help us find y. This right here is going to be an important skill for today's lesson. The final part of this video is giving you one example of what we're going to be doing. This right here is a story, and we're going to use a table to help us represent the story with an equation. The story says, Katie has 30 homework questions to complete before her math class. Let x be the number of problems she's completed. Y is going to be the number of problems she has left. Before we try to write an equation, even though the story doesn't tell us to, it can help a lot of students to have a table to look at. So they told us X is going to be the problem she's completed, and Y is the problems that are left. We know she has a total of 30 questions to do. When we go to make a table, remember you can pick any numbers you want in the table. So for example, if she's done 5 homework questions, she's completed 5, how many are left? 25. If she's completed 10 problems, how many would be left? 20. If she's completed 28 problems, how many problems are left? 2. And I'm just picking random numbers here for X. But once you've got some numbers in your table, it helps you see the pattern. And remember, the pattern is the equation. I'm noticing this table I just made, it reminds me, of this table right here. Notice every single time if I add my completed problems and the problems we have left, it equals those total 30 homework questions. 10 plus 20 equals 30. 28 plus 2 equals 30. So now that I've noticed that pattern, it helps me write an equation. Pause the video here and try to write that equation. Our equation could be X plus Y equals 30. That would be an equation we could use to represent this story. In today's lesson, we're going to look at more problems like this and also talk about how you could represent this story with more than one equation, depending on what pattern you notice. Hopefully you feel ready for today's lesson. Thanks so much for watching.